Hey everyone, it's been a crazy couple days. I want to share with you some of the stories from our 24-hour wedding planning and execution, and also to let you know that I think that there are a lot of lessons that we learned in that I think are going to apply to this quarantine, to this global pandemic that we're entering into. I've learned a lot, and I think that God is good and that there are graces and blessings. So I want you to know. So just to tell you a little bit of background, my daughter was supposed to get married on March 28th. That's not working. It didn't work. And the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of tears and a lot of fears as we looked at everything shutting down and trying to hold on so desperately to our plans and watching pieces of them fall away little by little by little. And I had this moment, thanks to my sister who suggested it, that I spent a day not thinking about it. If I was going to worry about it, I said, I'm not going to. I'm just going to ask you to make it clear what we need to do. And the next day, there was a limit of 50 people. We couldn't do the reception anymore. And it was time to let go of that date and then see what we could do. And the one lesson that I learned from that, well, besides just pray, was that we hold on so tightly to things that we want, to things that we have hopes for, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But as you're holding on, you're just waiting for that shoe to drop. And once it drops, I can't tell you the freedom. And as we hold on so tightly, like each finger is just pried open. And it's so hard. It was pride and pride and pride and pride. But once our hands were open, they were ready to receive. They were ready to do the work. They were ready to go out. And so if you are holding on tightly to whatever it is that you're trying to make normal or trying to just not let go of, it's okay that it's prying. But once you can finally let go and those hands are open, then it's time to do the work. So when we knew that that date wasn't possible, we said, okay, what is important? Well, what's important is they get married. She wanted to wear her dress. We have the dress. We're going to wear the dress. I don't care if nobody shows up. She's wearing the dress. And we want community, but they can't come. Only 7 people could show up at the wedding. So how do we get our community there? And that's when the brainstorming starts. So for us, community was live streaming the wedding and then asking people to come into our parking lot and be there for the ceremony or come right after, stay in their cars or stay near your cars for social distancing. And then when they come out, honk and cheer and flash your brights. And as we walked out, the emotion was so powerful that, like, who'd have thought that honking horns that never stopped would be so joyful, would be so wonderful, would be such an expression of love and happiness. And all of these things, even though there were just 7 of us in the church and his family couldn't come, it allowed us to be together in a way that we never would have otherwise. And at the end, my daughter was so happy. This was really the perfect wedding. And she said, we're going to redo the celebration on their year anniversary. But she's like, it won't hold a candle to this wedding. Again, once we open our hands, we can receive. We know what's important, but there will be loss and there is grief. I mean, there were so many tears, and that's okay. But then we look to the blessings, and there were so many in there. So as you walk into this quarantine global pandemic, I have a few things to tell you. One is to pray. I can't tell you the times that our prayers were answered. As things were shutting down, we don't know what day we're going to do. We prayed a rosary. And at the beginning, I asked Mary, I said, Mary, you were at the wedding at Cana. You went to your son and told them what they need. Here's what we need. Go to your son. Ask him to come. And after 1 decade, after 10 Hail Marys, we got a phone call from the priest. I know that prayer was answered. So prayer is so important to allow God to work in you. Because when we are afraid, when we're holding on, we're looking in, we're looking at the thing that we're afraid of, and we forget to look out. We forget to look up to God. We forget to look out to our community because we're so concerned for ourselves. Look out, look up, because there is blessing, there is work to do. What is God calling you to do? How is he calling you to do it? If we're going to be home, how are we going to do it? Who's going to sit where? We've got 4 kids at home and everybody's got stuff to do. So we're setting up workstations. We're setting up a schedule. We're getting up in the morning. We're taking a shower. We're getting dressed. And we have a schedule. We're going to have lunch at a certain time. We're going to have movie night. We're going to do, something every day. We're going to get outside and walk. We have a plan because we've let go of the things that we've been trying to hold on to for normalcy. What is our normal now? And how do we make that work for us? Community. Oh my goodness, y'all. The community, even in cars, online, the pictures, people dressed up and did a toast to my daughter. Having a phone call, maybe that's how we go, but every day reaching out to your community in a way that you can. Sitting outside on your block, maybe having a block movie that everybody can sit on their yards and watch a movie if you have a projector. Start being creative. There are all kinds of people doing wonderful things that are bringing some joy in this craziness. Again, there will be loss. There will be sorrow. That's okay. That's okay. And then look to God for what he's asking you to do, what he's giving you. Open those hands. Be ready to receive. As we go through this time, this Lenten time, I have a book on Holy Week, and I'm going to give a presentation that's still going to happen. Again, it's going to be virtual. It's going to be different, but it's going to happen. And as I've been thinking about it, we are living Holy Week. And I keep trying to decide, how do I describe that? What is Holy Week? Is it the last days of Jesus on this earth? No, he came back. Is it the last days of Jesus before the crucifixion? Yes. But really, it's the last days of Jesus before the resurrection. That's where we're going. And we can learn so much from the Holy Thursday, from the Last Supper, when the disciples ate together and Jesus washed their feet and said, as I have done, so you must do. Go serve others. How can we do that with social distancing? Figure that out. See what you can do. He went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and what did he say? He said, Lord, please take this cup from me. It was hard. He knew it was coming, and he didn't want to do it if he didn't have to. It's okay that we go to our garden in Gethsemane. And if you want to read it, go to Matthew 26 and just do the story. Go to the garden and then keep going, because at the end he says, not my will, but yours. Because our will may feel good, but God's will is good. And stand up and walk in the way that God has told you, not in the way that you feel like you need to keep fighting for. Again, open those hands. Be ready for what he has for you. And then finally, in the resurrection, this suffering, all of these things that we went through in this wedding are so hard. I wouldn't trade one of them, and neither would my daughter. I wouldn't trade one. And so know that this too shall pass. Know that God is here. Know that it is okay that you're struggling. Know that it is okay to have joy. Know that you are being called to something. Ask God what that is. Y'all, God bless. I'm going to be here. I will let you know about the Lenten mission that I'm going to do, that we're online. Join me. We can have hope. We can bond together. We have community. I love y'all. I'm praying for you. Let me know if I can pray for you specifically. God bless.